And we are live back with another Lakers snack break. And I am your host, Sean Grice. And I want to welcome you again to the Lakers Fast Break Network. And this is another snack pack from your one of your favorite, I guess, panelists. My name is Sean Grice, aka the Magic Man. And we are live here in the city of Toronto. It is currently 10 after 5. So I figured it would be a good time for a snack for our friends all around the globe, wherever you are. And we're going to talk today about some keys to game two, which are going to be very important. Now, look, I'm not sure if everybody's keeping up to date with injury updates, but Tim McMahon, who covers the Memphis Grizzlies for ESPN, has just filed a report that he uploaded about 45 minutes ago. States John Morant's condition has improved a little bit. He still has tissue swelling and inflammation, and obviously that's very painful and it's bothering him. But Taylor Jenkins and the staff say it's progressing. So my guess is, as our podfather Gerald Glassford spoke about this, not only on the postgame show on Sunday, but also yesterday on our NBA observations. He stated emphatically he was almost certain that John Morant was going to give it a go for game two. And I'm pretty sure Gerald's going to be right. Darvin Ham was asked about all this hoopla, and he decided that, he said that basically they're going to go into the game plan with the same mindset that they're not going to assume Morant's playing, but they're going to plan for him to be playing. So the game plan isn't going to change, I don't think, despite what some people might want to see if Tyus Jones happens to start. I think it could be also a case where the staff and the medical staff and coaching staff, especially Taylor Jenkins, in consultation with Morant and the trainers, will probably try and give it a go. And if he's really in pain, then they'll just take him out. So I half expect him now to give it a go and try and play, which means that the Lakers have to not take their foot off the throat here. They established a presence in that first game, and they need to hold on. I did some deep diving research. It was almost Jay Moore a deep dive, actually, because I really wanted to sink my teeth into this. And I was just curious. The Memphis Grizzlies eat a lot off transition. They love transition. Happens to be a frequency that is almost 20% of their offense. And we have some guests. All right. Thank you, Terrence, for the question. Is it a mistake to plan for Ja and not Tyus? I don't think so. I don't think so, Terrence, because I don't think the game plan changes that much. Hey, PMC, what's up? Nice to see you. No, I don't think the game plan changes that much, honestly. Like what Jones lacks in athleticism and just pure speed like Ja does, he makes up for in efficiency. He's a very efficient player. In the 45 games that Ja's missed and Tyus Jones has started, he's 32-13. Now, a good game to watch or some highlights to watch, guys, is from March 7th when the Lakers played the Grizzlies last. Triple J had a really good game again, unfortunately. But in that instance, he had 5 fouls, and we did not get him out of the game. That has to change. That's one of my keys, Terrence, is that even if Ja plays, you still have to find a way to get Triple J into foul trouble. Get him off the floor as much as possible. If Triple J off the floor, Memphis is so shorthanded. They are so shorthanded. I really don't think people have truly estimated how much they miss Steven Adams. Even if he did sit in a series, say against the Clippers or the Suns, he is a very valuable player on both ends of the floor. And without him, and you take Triple J out of the picture because you put him in foul trouble, the Grizzlies just have to resort to secondary and tertiary like big men, and none of their bigs outside of Triple J are any kind of rim protection threat or deterrent. So I think it's more important to just for the Lakers just to keep attacking the same way they did. Jenkins looked really confused after the first. So and I welcome in Gerald Glassford, who's enjoying a nice snack himself.
I heard this is a snack pack, so I'm
It
eating a
is.
snack.
All right. All right. So Gerald, we're just kind of shooting the breeze right now, and Terrence had a great question. He said, "Would the game plan change at all if Tyus Jones started versus Ja?"
Yes, because remember the team is more as far as when they're on offense, their sets they have more offensive sets that are geared towards ball movement and player movement when Tyus is in there. As I wish I was eating sirloin tip pizza PMC. I wish I
Yeah,
was.
I want
Absolutely
some
would
of
be the
that. I want some of that
yeah.
too, PFC.
Let's
Whatever that
all go.
kid.
I'll tell you what, let's all go to Phoenix right now with Laker jerseys on. Go into that clubhouse. Go ahead and tell that kid off and then snatch that pizza from him. There you go. How about that? All right. You know Joe would. You know Joe would. Absolutely. But getting back to the question, awesome question by Terrence. What's up, Intel? What's up, PMC? Terrence. I do want to go ahead and say that, yes, I think it's more ball and man movement. When it's more jaw, it's more isolation and seeing what he can do to penetrate and kick out to the shooters. When it's Tyus Jones, you see that there is more of a structured offense in place, and the Lakers have to go ahead and see if they can guard man on man as opposed to getting caught double teams or getting caught, just trying to go ahead and maybe chase around the perimeter a little bit more if that's the case and focus on that as opposed to jaw where you're trying to tighten up the lane. You have everybody hedging towards the lane, which creates more openings for those shooters.
Absolutely, Gerald. We saw that about a month ago. March 7th was the last time we played them in the regular season, and Tyus Jones just fed Triple J over and
Mhm.
over again as much as he could. So, I mean, whether or not, either one of them, who's ever in there, the Lakers have to remain focused. I looked this up, Gerald. Of the 31 losses Memphis had this year, they scored 20 fast break points, six of those games that they lost. So if you hold them to under 20 fast break points a game, you really take away a huge chunk of their offense.
Well, again, conversely, it is on the same thing as the Lakers. We've talked about this before, and I've been harping on it all year, especially in the earlier part of the season when this team did not have as many skilled players as they do now. They were so much reliant in order to come close to winning games on the transition because they were such a poor shooting team. They're a better shooting team now. Now, I don't think they're going to shoot 43%, consistently in the playoffs. Nor do I think that Rui Hashimura is going to go off for 29 each and every time. I think people need to temper their expectations on that. If he gets us again 15, Schroeder can bring it up and give you another 15 to 20 right there. And then you have Austin Reeves and D'Lo giving you also 15 to 20. I think that gives you a balanced attack so that LeBron and AD don't have to go ahead and feel like they have to do it themselves. I mean, there's the actual record that was tied with four players, Laker players, over 20 points. The first time that's happened since the Showtime era. I think that was a great sign that the Lakers have more than just two options for other teams to worry about. And I think that's come as a little bit of a surprise to the rest of the league at this time.
Yeah, and you know what, Gerald? Maybe everybody's the fool for kind of coming around to this now, given the fact that all the signs pointed to it, except that the results weren't equaling win after win after win. They were losing all these close games, and
Yeah.
yeah, um,
And I don't again. I don't want to get excited, too much about Rui Hashimura because the guy's a 29% 3-point shooter on the season. He shot 5 for 6. Statistics will bear out that that's probably going to be the best he does out of the entire playoffs. But if he can give you those post ups, if he can give you some good looks from the mid range, which was supposed to be the thing that he does best, even though he hasn't done as great as I was hoping he would from the mid range, if he could give you some of that, again, get you 15, 17 points, that's really all you can ask as far as that's concerned because the Lakers right now are 7 players deep. I think that you're going to have trouble finding anyone that's going to give you consistent minutes. Troy Brown, Lonnie Walker, Mo Bamba, those individuals, Wendy Gabriel, those guys you're going to see in, out, in, out. You're going to see Darvin Ham experimenting with those guys to see if any one of those guys will click for that game. I don't think that any of those guys are going to give you anything consistently, but you have to try and see which one of those eighth guys coming off the bench can give you anything to help out because Schroeder and Hashimura are now going to be the guys who are going to lean in very, very much off the bench at this time.
100%, Gerald. 100%. As we saw, Ham's basically shortened it to 9, and like you said, it's basically 7 plus maybe TBJ or Lonnie Walker who maybe they need them to play 10 minutes just out of necessity,
You
what
will
have you.
at some point in time. You will, and I think Troy Brown Jr. just because of his height and his ability a little bit to stick a little bit on defense, much better than Lonnie Walker, who's a terrible defender, but can actually go ahead and get you something offensively. That's the thing you have to look at. As long as you're not asking Lonnie Walker to be a playmaker, that's fine. If you're asking him to be a spot up shooter or to drive, go off the dribble, there you go. But yes, Blue Magic says Magic Man is styling on us with his Laker gear today. Salute. Hey, Gerald. Blue Magic, great to have you here. Terrence, PMC, Intel Wild. Just great to have you here for this impromptu snack pack. What we're doing is because Josh Raditz out there on Twitter was calling us out, saying he wants more snack packs. So I think Magic Man is complying to that. So great to be part of the snack pack, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me again, Jill. And by the way, what are you snacking on?
Oh, it's just potato chips.
All right.
I'm trying to see what I'm trying to think of. I just thought of the other day because I was actually spending some time at the National Association of Broadcasters yesterday, and I'm going to go actually
Mm.
after our snack pack today, head out back out to the convention center just for a little bit to check more out stuff out. But I was thinking on my walk there that I've got to find a better opening for the snack pack. I've got one as far as the audio portion is concerned when I post it on podcasts, but I still got to think about, finding some Lakers snacks, Laker branded snacks out there that we could go ahead and munch on to start the show. But we'll have to figure that out as it goes because it's not exactly as readily available as I had hoped to, especially for someone out here.
Oh, no, not at all. Gerald, on to the next agenda.
Hmm.
This is Triple J's moment to shine. He's probably going to be given the Defensive Player of the Year award before Game 2.
Hmm.
So I expect the crowd to be pretty pumped up and for them to try and feed off of that energy. That
Hmm.
being said, the last regular season game we played against them at Crypt, he got into foul trouble, Gerald. We managed to get him into foul trouble. He had 5 fouls. But again, it's the 5 foul blues with Darvin Ham. That was the 4th time this regular season. Luka Doncic, Jalen Brown, Cat, and Triple J that he had one of a premier NBA player in foul trouble, and they just couldn't get them out of the game. So my question to you is, do you think that they will emphasize attacking him? Because it felt like he could have picked up a couple of quick early fouls last game, Gerald, but for
Well, let's
whatever reason.
if Ja is out of the game, that's what I do. I'd attack Triple J. You're going to get some shots blocked, that's for sure. But if you get 3 fouls on him in the first half, that could really set things going because you want to set the tone right away if you're a Lakers fan. And yes, through the wild, I do want to go ahead and put up some cookie videos at some point in time. No other Lakers shows doing that. I know we would get a lot of flack for it from other shows. What are those guys did? They did cooking shows. Well, you guys want us? You talk about food all the time, so absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna go ahead and do some for you. PMC, I thought the snack packs were a cookie show before watching it. Actually, it was something that he said in one of the first ones. So I took on the mantle after he created the word on the air. So I will say though that do think that the Lakers can go ahead and set the tone early, but getting Triple J in foul trouble should be something that the Lakers should be cognizant of, at least in the first half. They're not going to get him fouled out. Okay, it's apparent, like you said, it's not an accident that this team forgets these top players have 5 fouls. It's obviously something that the coaching staff does not atone in on or tune in on as far as them being able to go ahead and oh, he has 5 fouls. We got to go ahead and lean on him harder. That's also on LeBron and AD. LeBron has been in this league long enough to know, okay, you tell him, or maybe assistant coach, maybe he's not aware of 5 fouls. Assistant coach say, hey, that guy has 5 fouls. And so maybe it's up to LeBron on the court to go ahead and try and focus in on that as well. So, maybe we've been always saying Darvin Ham, but somebody in the Lakers staff and players should be aware that he has 5 fouls and try to target that individual. So if that happens again, I still don't expect it. I have to see it to believe it, as I always say. Before we go ahead and say, okay, that they've actually mastered a game plan and trying to get someone out of the game like that. But be that as it may, the first half, at least you can focus in on trying to get Triple J 3 fouls. If you could do that, you can get him out of the game a little bit early, like halfway through the second quarter or something like that, go on a run then. That might be just the difference that you need in winning game two.
100%, Gerald. 100%. And from what we've seen so far, you're right. We don't need Rui to score 29 points again, and we don't need Dennis to explode either. But if one of those guys or both of them are just playing, like you said, consistently, I think that's good enough. Even if we can't get Triple J in foul trouble,
Yeah.
because I think you know Austin Reeves, like you said, Austin Reeves has proven himself. He is now unquestionably in the starting backcourt with D'Angelo Russell. So
And conversely, Blue Magic said it best, watch out for getting AD in trouble because the Lakers don't have much to talk about behind him. It goes to a LeBron Rui backup center because Wenyen Gabriel is Wenyen Gabriel. Mo Bamba is Mo Bamba. Those guys, they're not going to get any burn. And if they do, this is a sign of trouble for the Lakers because those two are not playoff ready. If they give you any kind of minutes, if you're looking for Alex Len minutes from Mo Bamba or when you're Gabriel, I think maybe you'll get that maybe once in a playoff series, maybe twice, but I don't think you're going to get it in a 5 to 7 time period. And you're asking for trouble if you're going to go ahead and get those guys in. Although this would be the series. If AD gets in foul trouble, this would be the series that you could possibly get away with it because Triple J, you could stick Rui on him. Not LeBron because LeBron did not fare well against Triple J, but you could stick Rui on him or maybe Mo Bamba for 5 fouls, whatnot, just to see if you could go ahead and do something like that, or even Wendy Gabriel. But you could get away with it in this. But if you have a talented center, like let's say you're playing Denver or even Phoenix or something like that, or even like Sacramento, Sabonis with the bad ribs, he could probably really go to town on whoever the backup center is for the Lakers. So, they could get away with it this round, but I think that you're playing with fire. But I agree with Blue that we also have to watch out for AD getting in foul trouble as well.
Yeah, 100%. That's true as well. You have to worry about the boomerang effect.
Big shout out to Joshua Dietz. Absolutely, my friend. Snack pack because you asked for it.
Yeah, so Terrence asked a great question, Gerald. You guys may have touched on this in the previous streams, but do you have any changes you would make for game two if you were Coach Ham, Gerald?
I would, but it comes at a cost, my friend, because if John Moran is listed out, Triple J becomes more of the focus. I would just try to slow him down a little bit by putting AD on him and asking AD to not go back and drop coverage, to not switch so easily, and to try and stay hard on Triple J, because we saw even when he was on Triple J, he could easily be picked. Yeah, somebody could set a screen, set a pick on him, and then easily he could be, you know, dropping back in coverage. We saw that. So even when he was on Triple J, he was not actually on Triple J. I would put, at least for a 5 to 10 minute span, have him just say, you know what, stay with Triple J. We'll take care of it in the lane. If somebody tries in, we don't see anyone that could consistently drive in since Jaw's not in there. So yeah, I would go from there. That's the change I would make. Just 5 to 10 minutes each half of AD playing really tight on Triple J. That's what I would do.
Well, you know something, Gerald? I think that's the right move to make as well.
Yeah, you better be just kidding on that, Blue. There's no way. No way.
I would like to see them try and hedge and fastly double Triple J as well, Joe, because I don't think he's as good of a passer as he was made out to be game one. Because it seemed like the doubles were either coming late or he could see right over them.
Well,
I,
he's not
I
been too much of a focus of the offense this season.
yeah,
So try, if you do make him focus on the offense, make it harder for him. Make him work for it. So maybe he'll crack, maybe he won't. I mean, he did play well in the games that Jaw was out of the game, or out of the not in the game, or out for whatever various reasons. So I'm not going to underestimate that, but he's not the guy that's going to go off on 40 for you. 30, a little bit, he could do that, but not 40, 45. He's not going to be the dominant scorer, so he's going to have to get a lot of support to get the job done. And I will say that, speaking of the
oh
Sabonis
boy.
Draymond thing, what are your thoughts on that? He did grab his leg. That was a legit, and that was deserving of a technical foul, flagrant one, I think, on Sabonis's part. But to stomp on the guy, I don't. You're saying it was justified, with the already bad reputation that Draymond has. Always just walking that tightrope of a suspension for literally anything. I don't know. I would have, had him say, just you're giving the people a reason. You're giving the refs a reason and the league a reason to get you out of the game. I would try to avoid that at all possible. I would have just ripped my foot away, and if that's the case, but to do the stomping and the pushing off and using him like a trampoline, yeah, that to me is excessive. No matter how much he grabbed on his leg, you just got to rip your thing, your leg away. Or what I saw on Twitter, like Dylan Brooks just waving up his hands. Hey, look at this, and having Sabonis get a T, and there you go.
Yeah, no, there honestly there was no. I get it. You're. It's a reflex response. You're trying to defend yourself, but you don't need to stomp on a man like that. No, no,
Yeah,
I
through the
don't.
wire, I agree with you. He is, I think, their overall best player.
Yep.
Triple J is, but the thing is, does he have the mindset? We'll find out in game two if Jaw's not in. Does he have the mindset to go ahead and take over a game and be that big scoring individual that they need on Memphis? If that's the case, the Lakers could be in trouble. They could be surprised in game two. And that's the thing the Lakers have to go ahead and be wary of, is to go in there with a mindset, oh, Jaw's not in there. We got this. No problemo. Yeah, we got this. Everything's already all good and all that. But you got to be aware and be confident in your game that you can go home 2-0. But you also have to make sure that you're not going to underestimate. Because, like, the Magic Man also says, like, he called out the snack pack. What about a wounded animal?
It's the most dangerous animal, Gerald.
And big shout out to Through the Wire for those great comments as well. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and hey, try and get Dylan Brooks in foul trouble again. That guy doesn't know how to play other than overly aggressive. So
Well,
getting
but
him in
also,
foul trouble will go a long way too.
having him become a volume shooter instead
Shooter.
of Desmond Bain. If you ask me who would you like as the volume shooter on that team from a guard position, I'm definitely hoping it is Dylan Brooks because your odds are a lot better. If he gets hot and does a Rui Hashimura, you know what? Then the Lakers deserve to lose if that's the
Yes.
case for that game. But I'm banking on. I'm in Vegas, and who is the better shooter between Desmond Bain and Dylan Brooks? It's not even close. So if you have Dylan Brooks chucking up threes, you got to give up something in the defense. I'd give up that any day. And just like the Memphis Grizzlies decided, you know what, we're gonna let Rui Hashimura shoot away, and it costs them. It could, cost the Lakers on that. But if Dylan Brooks is the one that's taking all the shots, I'll pay my money on that. I'll say, you know what, that was a good game plan, and if he makes it, you just got to pat him on the back.
100%, 100%. So those are my keys. We need to keep the Grizzlies out of fast break opportunities, try and get Triple J in foul trouble, and a couple of the others need to step up. We've seen it from Rui, we've seen it from Troy Brown Jr. last game. I want to see something out of Beasley, hopefully, Gerald, if he
Mhm.
plays at all. And hopefully it'll lead to a victory because, like you said, man, there are no guarantees in this game, too. They're going to be hyped up because of Triple J's great season. And those first 10 minutes are going to be key. I want to see the Lakers continue to confuse the Grizzlies on defense from an offensive perspective.
The one thing I want to add in, though, please, I was something that Blue Magic had touched on was he was talking about the lack of focus on Braun's part because Braun, even though defensively help wise was amazing, one on one wise, obviously he wasn't that great against Triple J, but he had a scatter shot game. Again, it's so weird because he's having these games that he's shooting overall from the field pretty good, but yet it's still not showing up as far as overall with the eye test as being a totally focused game. And I was just listening to a podcast, the Sports Illustrated podcast crossover, and how everybody is talking about Chris Mannix's thoughts and all that. We talked about it on this show and how
Hmm.
everybody's now going on the bandwagon and whatnot. But he talked about LeBron being the fourth best player in game one. And he's right. I got to give him credit, even though he's a Boston guy. He was right. LeBron was the fourth best player on that floor. Actually, fifth best if you want to consider Triple J was playing better than
Hey,
him as well. So, if that's the case, he's got to go ahead and win this team. When Austin and Rui or Dennis or D'Lo or all these other ancillary players are not playing well, he's got to make sure that he is ready to step up and give them what they need in order to get the victory.
a
And I agree
hundred.
with you, Blue. Too many turnovers lately. Ever since he came back from the injury, too many turnovers.
Yeah, he's been very loosey goosey with the ball. I'm not sure what the correlation is. We think the cause is just rust from the injury, but we'll hopefully see an adjustment there because Tyus Jones will feast off turnovers. They will
Yeah,
find a way to get him the ball, and he has been the best backup point guard in the NBA for the last 4 years for a reason. He comes in, he
he's
does
so
his
efficient.
he's so efficient. He's so efficient, and he's gotten better as a shooter from his days as a Timberwolf to now being a Grizzly. So he's put in the work, and neither form of the Grizzlies, whether Jones or Morant is starting, should change the attitude at all, Gerald. That's all we're saying. If they come out with the same attitude, I think they'll win.
I think they win. Again, getting off to an early lead helps. Getting Triple J in foul trouble in the first half helps. And I think that they do that and they can still get some consistent production from players that not named LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and stay healthy, stay upright. That's a big key as well.
Yes, yes. That's one of the keys for the Lakers. If those two men are able to stand upright and play, the Lakers have a very good chance of winning the game.
Absolutely. And before we go, man, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on some of the games tonight, man?
Yeah, you know what, Gerald? I think Boston just came out just guns a blazing last game one. I don't anticipate that. I think it'll be a closer game. Quinn Snyder's a good coach, everyone. I'm not down on the Hawks in this series because of Quinn Snyder. I just think it's a case where Boston just has more top end talent that the Hawks don't.
I
Um,
agree. I agree.
I expect Boston to win tonight. Um, in the Cleveland Nick game, Gerald. I mean, hopefully we don't see a replay of the 1997 NBA Eastern Conference Finals where it was 5 yards in a cloud of dust. I expect a much cleaner game from Evan Mobley. Maybe it was just jitters, just that for whatever reason. I'm not sure how to explain the kid's lack of energy, but he should be ready to go tonight. I expect the Cavs to win another close one, but you just never know. If it's close and Jalen Brunson has the ball in his hands, it could be a different story, Gerald. And Chris Paul woke up this morning probably feeling okay about himself, a little upset losing game one, but when he came to the arena and he saw who was officiating the game tonight, and
Scott
it's Scott
Foster.
Foster. It's Scott Foster, by the way. My guess is Chris ripped out a urinal or two in the bathroom. Um, I think his record is 2-13 all time in games coached by Scott Foster, ref by Scott Foster. I believe the last 13 are all losses. Make of that what you will, but those two gentlemen just do not like one another. And I would expect Gerald. I can't believe I'm saying this. I expect the Clippers to win tonight. I I don't think the Suns have a
I don't
chance in
I
hell.
don't think so. I think they're gonna be a little bit smarter about how they play it out.
I would
I
hope so.
I think you're going to see a much more efficient game from Devin Booker, but you're also going to see a lot more shots taken up by KD, and that's what you want. Those two guys need to be shooting a lot more than they did in game one. And again, if Russell Westbrook shoots 3 for 19 again, there's no, how many games are you going to win with Russell Westbrook shooting 3 for 19?
Not
You know,
many. Not
not
many.
okay.
Not
He's
many.
won twice shooting 3 for 19. Maybe that's the magic number, but still, I don't know. We'll see.
Terrence, great question. I'm curious why Bamba can't even get
Well, he
time.
kind of did. He got the
Yeah, I
one
did.
minute.
He did.
But I know I get your question, Terrence. He just is not a good fit. He just is not mobile enough. He's just not, his defensive awareness in the limited times we've seen him here for the Lakers is just not where it needs to be. When it comes to Gabriel, he gives you more effort and then what you see from Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba just he's an enigma. Basically an enigma. Again, the theory of Mo Bamba, as I always say, is better than the practice and the reality of Mo Bamba because, he just doesn't have it in him. He just doesn't have that fire. Not everybody does. And it just doesn't look like he has that fire in him to go ahead and play the way that he needs to play. With that outstanding 7'10" reach, right now until I think Wembyama gets into the league, he might have the top reach in the NBA. It doesn't help him at all if he's out of position each and every time out. So, you know, the fact is he should be getting some playing time. You think with all the skills that he could bring, but I just think it's the fact that he's just not he just doesn't have that court awareness, that court IQ to go ahead and be effective enough for the Lakers and what they need to do. Maybe you can try and give him a stretch today, if AD does get in foul trouble or give him a bigger breather. But I still have a feeling they're going to go with the Rui LeBron center thing, or at the very worst, they're going to give Wendy and Gabriel a try first before they go to Mo Bamba, because I really think that he is totally been written off. And it's going to be one of those situations where emergency break glass, bring him into the game, and he's going to have to produce in that time for him to be back in the good graces of Darvin Ham.
Yeah, 100%, Gerald. And
And Blue Magic, yeah, that's also, he had that injury, but he also his deficiencies, Blue Magic, as the Lakers defense got better, he played less. So his deficiencies on the defensive end and the fact that he's very slight of build and he can easily be muscled out there by other two guards is a big key. In fact, he's not he's a terrible playmaker. He is just one thing, a scorer and a scorer only. He's not even a consistent 3-point shooter. That's going to be very hard to keep him in the game, especially in a playoff situation like this. But yeah, he got a raw deal because he didn't exactly play himself 100% out of the equation, out of the rotation. He did also get injured, so I will give that. But when you look at him as a player, he was a good player for us at the beginning of the season because he was hitting his three and he was able to score. And as his 3-point shooting went awry, and then he got the injury, and then they got made the trades, all these things fell in place for him to be out of the rotation. And maybe you should give him a try if you're really lacking for offense on the in the second team, if you need that, which the Lakers may at some point in time, because like we're scoring a lot of points now. It's also worked the other way with the guys coming off the bench. So if that's the case, I still think they should look at him at some point in time. But yeah, expect that that he has deficiencies in his game. The longer you play him, the more they'll show up.
100%. All that is true. I will say this for Lonnie's
Remember when they
behalf.
tried to play him as a point guard?
Yeah, that didn't work out too well.
Yeah.
Didn't work out too well. But he's been a pro's pro. He's always ready. He stays ready. When you stay ready, you don't have to be ready. So applaud him for that. He's been a professional for this
Yes,
whole thing.
absolutely.
He's not sulking or whining on the bench. The body language is that he's into the game, and I think he's being a really great teammate. And obviously, you know what, Lonnie's another set of eyes out there, so it's definitely cause for other guys to catch his ear. If he sees something, he'll speak up. He's a pro's pro. He's not getting much playing time now, but like Gerald said, there's going to come a point in time where the rubber's going to hit the road and the Lakers are going to need something from someone, and he's going to have his number called eventually.
Absolutely. And again, his number will be called back up, rest assured, because at the playoffs, you always have that one player that's sitting on the bench that you're trying to resurrect that might get you through a game or two before they go revert back to where they were before. So we'll see. Maybe it's a Mo Bamba, maybe it's a Lonnie Walker. Heck, it may be even a Wenyan Gabriel. We'll see. But I really think that the Lakers need to find something as this playoffs go on, is find a consistent eighth player in the rotation. Maybe it's Troy Brown Jr. I'm not so sure because, again, he's been all over the place as far as his consistency the last month after he was really shooting well. And we were thinking that he's going to be a tough get in free agency. I'm not sure we're going to be able to retain him, yada, yada, yada. But then his game started to fall off. And that's what you're seeing from these guys up and down that are coming off the bench. Schroeder's been the only somewhat consistent one all season. Rui, again, he was a coaching DMP a month ago. So he is riding high. You got to make sure if you're Darvin Ham, you're riding that wave of good fortune with Rui Hashimura as it sees fit. So yeah, maybe Lonnie Walker, if he comes in because he's got a contract to play for, maybe you could give him a stint and maybe he'll produce for you. If that's the case, a lot of it's tied to money. So these guys that are on those, pending free agencies, they're very incentivized, as Joe talked about last night. So we'll see.
We'll
Um,
see.
as far as on TBJ, I'm not sure. Do we pick up his contract next year, or we talk about Mo Bamba? I know
I
that with
think
some of the
it's
guys,
Bamba.
Bamba, if you're picking up, you're doing what Stone Hansen has said for a while, that if you're picking up, you want it just because that $10 million as a trade asset. That's all you want it for, because it looks like Mo Bamba is not going to give you what you need to give you unless he reverts and finds some more energy, or maybe just goes up to Wenyan Gabriel and does like a mind meld or something like, I want some of your energy, or, something like that, because it's right now, it's just, he just does not have that that you need from a guy, because he can hustle. He is somewhat athletic, and he is 7'1" with a 7'10" reach. You think you could put some of those things together, but he's just got to have the heart. because he gets easily I've seen the guy get easily muscled out of plays, and it's just amazing how that is.
Yeah, especially with a man with that size and length, you wouldn't expect him to exactly be a pushover out there, but
Yeah.
sometimes it looks like he is, Gerald. It looks like it's just a kind of like a 6'2", 6'3" man on stilts.
Blue Magic, I don't think the right answer to that question is going to be played out until the end of the playoffs, because if the longer the Lakers are in the playoffs, that means the more money that Austin Reeves has been earning because of his good play. If that's the case, I mean, we will still probably see some bad games from Austin, but I think the Lakers, the farther they get, that means the better he's been playing. So we could see 20, 25, $30 million go to him instead of D'Lo, which again will irritate me to no end, because as we talked about it, Joe and I argued last night about on the NBA observations. This is a guy you could have had doing this now for this next year and even the next season after that for $1.5 million. You could have signed him on one of those rookie contracts, low end, low priced, and yet you chose not to. As an organization, your gamble is now, oh, you're really a lot higher after THT, after what we've seen with Caruso, after what we've seen with Max Christie, and after what we've seen with Austin Reeves. This organization at the very top, they do a great job of seeing the initial player, but they don't see the bigger picture with some of these players, because you see how many former Lakers are all around the league as far as rotational players in this league, and how well they could have played. Just think how well they could have played for the Lakers as some of these guys that they let go easily. We saw Ivica Zubats, as I said the other day, if he plays at an even level or outplays DeAndre Ayton, the Clippers will win that series. What happened in game one? He outplayed DeAndre Ayton. So there you go. And this is someone we let go for a chump change, who's now in Boston as a backup center, Mike Muscala. So yeah,
Yeah.
I just the guys, the initial drafting by the scouting department is great. It's just the evaluation from there I still have issues with, and the fact is that this team could be even deeper and more cost friendly with a lot of rookie contracts right now of players that are really producing in this league. Irritates me to no end.
I agree. I get it. It gnars at the brain, at
No,
the reason.
well, putting up your comment there. That's true, Gerald. But with the contract security prevented AR's growth. No, with a team. And remember, I talked about it at the beginning of the season that the Lakers had some of the worst depth from number 3 to number 15 as anybody in the league. So anybody, a guy coming off the street, you Blue Magic, me, I could have come off the street and been given a chance if I played well enough, and would have been given that opportunity. So AR had every opportunity to go ahead and succeed. When they got him off that two-way, they had a choice of what contract to sign him to. Once they had him off that two-way, they chose only a 1+1, and that was on them. That's on them, and that's their mistake. And now they're going to have to pay for it. Literally going to have to pay for it. And it's going to cost us maybe a D'Lo. It's going to cost us maybe a TBJ or some Rui Hashimura. It's going to cost us, because it's going to put us in that new cap situation with the CBA and all that, because you wanted to sign this guy for only 2 years. And the same thing goes with you would still have THT on the team for good or bad, but you would have him on, like, let's say, for another 1.5 million. You would have Alex Caruso. You could have signed him on one of those deals back then when you got him off the two-way, and you would be probably going into now as far as a free agent season now, but you would have had him for cheap for the past couple of years. All these players that the Lakers initially draft and see, or get off of 2A, or, find from other organizations, they're good at that. It's just, what do they see in them once they get on the team, and evaluating them going forward. And they're very reluctant to go ahead and pull the trigger on some of these bargain deals that I see some of these other teams do. So Blue Magic, I think that he would have gotten every opportunity had he been making $1 million. Like, for instance, Troy Brown Jr. Troy Brown Jr. has had a ton of run this season. He's only making $1 million. Well, I know that's more than I make, absolutely, but still, you get the idea.
That's correct, Blue. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to bring every iteration.
They're gonna have to pick and choose. I think they choose Austin ahead of D'Lo. I think they
I,
choose
I
Austin
do
ahead of
too.
D'Lo. Yeah.
I do too. I do too. Unless those two really love playing with each other enough to take a home team discount. We know that doesn't happen
You could be
in the
paying
NBA.
up to 60
16
million a
million dollars
year for both of them.
for that backcourt. Yeah. So
Yeah.
think about it. Sometimes you have to make decisions in life. You said it right, Blue.
Plus,
Uh,
plus you're picking up Rui's contract at 10 mil, or was it? Is
mm,
it 10 mil?
it's
Is
10 mil. It's 10
okay.
mil.
And
Yeah.
same thing with Mo Bamba. If you want to use him as a trade asset, you
Hmm.
can let him go, but then again, you lose that trade asset for 10 million right there. And then you're talking about Malik Beasley would be the one to probably go as well because he's going to be what you have to pick up his at what, 16 and a half.
Yes, yes. So Mo Bamba and Malik Beasley off your books is 26 mil. So
Got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. Blue, yeah, that's true. But the thing is, then we've got to go ahead again, do this process over each year, where you have to try and find consistent help for LeBron and AD, and that gets harder and harder because the league is not exactly going to be stagnant themselves. They're also looking at the same pool of talent that you are, which is why, again, when you see someone who has an inkling of talent that's a two-way player or a second round draft choice, it's imperative that you lock them up for 4 years. What's the worst going to happen? They don't pan out and you're trading them away for $1 million contract, or you're waiving them for $1 million. I'd rather take that risk than as an organization than having to potentially lose them for 10-20 million dollars or re-sign them for 10-20 million dollars.
yes, there's a lot of bouncing balls here and moving parts that unfortunately it's not going to all link up into the same circus ring again. There's going to be uh, a new version of this team. I would try and keep the core, Blue. So the core would be, if you can keep Austin Reeves, you keep him. If you can, you might not even be able to bring back Dennis Schroeder. I would bring back Rui and Austin Reeves right now. If you can add around that, I would try. But I don't even think you can bring Dennis back if you're bringing Rui and AR back.
Again, yeah, because now Dennis is now beloved once again in the league after he was persona non grata this time last year. So figure that one
Hmm.
out.
Yeah, go figure. So with that, we'll leave this snack back. Hopefully, it gave everybody a little bit of a sugar rush this afternoon. I know it gave us a sugar rush.
Yes,
So I'm
absolutely. Hold
I'm
on.
happy.
I'm gonna go get something salty then. Hold on.
There we go. And with that, this Lakers snack pack is over. Hope everybody got what they needed. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good one.